All right, welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. I am your host, Cardin Ellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everyone.
And usually I feel overqualified to make much of my commentary, but in this case I feel underqualified, and this is going to be predominantly Cody the Oracle's clairvoyance dictating the truth or the untruth, the wisdom or the fallacy and foolishness of one Andrew Yang's NBA predictions. I know nothing of the NBA other than I played Little League basketball when I was a small child due to my height and my overzealous father who absolutely adored the sport. So I apologize, Dad, for my lack of knowledge of everything you tried to instill in me, but I defer to one Cody the Oracle to tell us if Andrew Yang knows what's going on. And this is important because if you can't predict the NBA, how are you ever going to do international geopolitical,
Well, hold on. This is where I think you're being facetious, but there is an angle to this, right? Hold on, I'm going to go over in a second his actual picks. Here's the funny thing, right? When you're president or candidate, a lot of times you get asked a question, and the best answer for you isn't the honest or the straight one, right? For example, you ask someone, who do you think will win this competitive event? Well, if I'm in New Hampshire, I might say the local guy will win and get a cheer, right? Like you run for president.
GP.
But at the same time, sometimes it happens on a global stage where you can't necessarily say what you mean because it could other leaders, so on and so forth. So I think it's a fun way to look into, is Andrew Yang going to go political here? Now, I'll get that out of the way. He does not. This is not a very, point being, he has.
You mean go political or go conservative in his predictions?
Political being that there's more Lakers fans than Clippers fans. He said the Clippers are going to beat the Lakers.
Okay.
Sixers over Bucks, that's good. Clippers over Sixers for the title. Probably more Philadelphia 76ers fans than Clippers fans. He has the Warriors missing the playoffs. There's a lot of Warriors fans. So he was honest here. I thought was cool. Like I said, here's total room to say, oh, I think the Knicks will be better than people think because I'm a Knicks fan, yada, yada. He didn't do that. He gave an answer. So as far as, like I said, I think it's fun looking at these stuff because it's always fun seeing, is he going to go 100% Hillary Clinton and just say, whatever will make people like me, or is he going to give his actual opinion? You know what I mean? Now, someone else who did a little bit of that, and kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this up, we'll revisit these in a minute, but I wanted to bring it up. A lot of you guys, if you're still watching, are probably like, okay, and this article from March of this year, people still write articles. People still go to Barack Obama and ask Barack Obama for his NCAA Final Four brackets.
Yeah.
And because when you're able to, and I was just me and Cardin were talking about this a few minutes ago before we were starting the video in our pre-show, and he's no fan of Obama. I'm not the biggest fan of Obama's presidency, but I was like, look, as a basketball fan, as someone who likes basketball, even though I don't agree with a whole lot of Barack Obama, a lot of the stuff he did, a lot of blowing people up in the Middle East for no reason, I didn't love that.
His March Madness was endearing. But
just the fact that we are both basketball fans. And I believe he actually is a basketball fan. I think it's a really fascinating way for candidates to connect. I mean, George Bush famously still sits, maybe not this season, for years. If you watch the Texas Rangers game, pretty good chance you could see George Bush sitting right behind home plate if it was a big game. Like, he would go to the games, and if you're a baseball fan, hey, I disagree, but I'm a baseball fan too. Like I said, I'm not the biggest Obama fan, but me and Obama are both basketball fans. Yeah, well, they rigged out, but
what a nightmare.
Look at this, and you were laughing at this. This is a really funny story in many ways, but here we go. Barack Obama gets heroes welcome at MVP Finals in Toronto. He wasn't even president of Toronto.
That makes sense that the socialist country is cheering on the socialist messiah.
He wasn't even... Yes, under the socialist messiah of Barack Obama's presidency brought us Facebook and iPhones and everything. The capitalist consumer boom of the what people call late stage capitalism. We're critical.
Look, I'm compensating
that was
for
brought by the socialist deity Barack Obama. No, like I said, Barack Obama was.
I'm just dealing with the emasculation of not knowing that there was a team called the Pelicans in the NBA.
Well,
even that's just crappy because you can't have cool mascots. The only thing you can have are stupid animals.
One year is even worse. Guess where the New Orleans Pelicans play basketball? What is their
What is it? Not even New Orleans? Is it across the border of Mississippi or something?
What do they call the stadium they play in?
The Perch.
No. Nowadays, it's a little bit fascinating. Those who don't know, big companies buy the naming rights to every stadium. Dodger Stadium, that doesn't exist anymore.
It's like the new Skin Arena in Salt Lake City.
It's an aside. The New Orleans Pelicans play basketball at the Smoothie King Center. So that's
the Smoothie King.
But
yes!
without getting too far off topic, the reason why and we're going to spend a little bit at the end here. We're going to go through. But
That is so South.
I wanted to talk about just what it means for. No, it is really
Southern,
funny.
I mean.
It is really funny. But I'll talk about. Barack Obama got MVP chance, a hero's welcome in a country he wasn't even president of. That is for people who aren't fans of,
Well, they probably like him more over there.
Name a sport. Well, yeah, of course, he wasn't the president. It's always. I feel like everyone always likes other countries' presidents.
Yeah,
like
Justin Trudeau would probably get clapped by all the ladies, all the middle-aged girls crushing on him. Would just be like, "Oh, Justin Trudeau!"
If he showed up in a game I was at,
nobody would recognize him.
No, I'd probably cheer for him. Like, whatever, he's prime minister. I don't agree with him, but he's not prime. He doesn't lead my country.
You are far too forgiving, not meant for this world of tribalism and cancel culture, Cody.
He literally isn't my president. I don't care, right?
Yeah, we can start chanting, "Not my prime minister, not my prime minister."
But like I said, jokes aside, though, I just thought it was the reason why I want to kind of go over these. The reason why I thought it'd be fun talking about these is, like I said, This is an article of Barack Obama getting a hero's welcome in a country he was never president of, like 5 or 6 months ago, right? Like he hasn't been president in 4 years of any country, not even Canada, and they welcome him there. I do think it means a lot for any politician to kind of, like I said, you don't have to. I don't agree with Obama on a lot, but me and Barack Obama are both basketball fans. Me and Andrew Yang agree on more than me and Obama do, or I guess we go the other way around. I don't think they agree with me on anything, right? But it is really neat seeing. It's just funny knowing that you have these things in common with candidates. I think it's a really cool way for candidates to humanize us. So now I'll go through it. Like I said, these anthems aren't very political. As a Lakers fan, I think the Lakers will beat the Clippers. I think Lakers are going to win the title, so I disagree there. I think Sixers over Bucks. I think the Philadelphia 76ers are grossly overrated. So maybe he did go a little bit political there by talking about the Sixers going to the finals. I don't think they're going to be anywhere near that. MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo. Why not? Surprise teams, Pacers and Mavs. I'm a big Luka Doncic guy. I would not call the Mavs a surprise team. I think they're just good. Down year, Celtics and Blazers. As a Lakers fan, love hearing that. Rookie of the year, Zion. Maybe. I think John Morant is an outside chance at it. He goes on to
Zion. It's not pronounced Zion. It's not pronounced Zion.
He's Zion Williams.
Okay, cool.
Number one overall pick. Speaking of, we talked about Zion Williams in one of our earlier videos about the NCAA and how Zion Williams does a slam dunk in a pair of Nikes, and Nike makes millions, ESPN gets millions of views, and he makes nothing. For a school that makes all their money off having contracts with basketball players. I don't know. It just was one of the craziest things to me when you just watch a kid. He's like 17, 18 years old. Like I said, doing a slam dunk. The Sports Illustrated, when they take the picture, run it in the magazine, and sell them, they make money on that. They sold tickets to the game. There's TV rights. I don't want to get into this too much. Andrew Yang is fighting to change it, and it is changing. It's just crazy to me that, seriously, this kid does a slam dunk in a game. Everyone makes millions but him. And that's the way it should be. That's the way people think. But he goes through here. Like I said, when you talk about Andrew Yang not being political, I think the Warriors are going to have a very tough year. Their depth is gone, and they're going to run Curry ragged. I'm not sure they make the playoffs. A lot of front-runner Warrior fans out there that aren't going to be happy to hear that their president candidate is picking against them. But again, this is all just humorous at the end here. I just wanted to kind of take some time. So, like I said,
so scale of 1 to 10, how good do you think his predictions are?
So an actual rating of how close he is.
Yeah, like would you bet on his?
It's like a 6. I would not bet on that.
A 6.
I basketball.
You need Cody the Oracle in your cabinet so you can start doing better NBA predictions. Andrew Yang.
Like I said, I think Sixers are really overblown. I don't think Sixers are going to go to the Eastern Conference. But at the same time, Eastern Conference is a mess. It's a really again, if you're not a fan, it's hard to explain this stuff. And again, one of the reasons why. No one believes me on this who isn't a sports fan, but I'm telling you, for people who are fans of a sport, when they see a candidate also be legitimately fans and not just, like I said, not just like the Hillary Clinton. I'm like, I love home team. They're great. You know what I mean? Like actual fans. Barack Obama's a Bulls fan. I think he is. I believe he is. It's this weird connection that people are able to form with candidates, and it's a great way of legitimately reaching across the aisle. The best example I could think of is I am no Obama fan, but we're both basketball fans, and that is some weird connection that you have with everyone. Doesn't matter if you're, like I said, the pauper in the streets or the king. When you're a fan of the same thing, it does equate you on a certain level, and seeing Andrew Yang post NBA predictions like this, it humanized him to a lot of people. There's a lot of people who probably know nothing about politics who read this and go like, oh, why is this verified account tweeting NBA predictions? He's running for president? What? And they look at it. So I just wanted to say that. Again, I think it's a little bit safe. I think Sixers overrated, aren't going to do that good. I agree. Celtics are really overrated as well. They're going to have a bad year. I disagree. The Mavs are a surprise. I think the Mavs are a team that clearly has a ton of talent all up and down the board. They are like the European all-star team, basically. They got Luka Doncic, who's a super kid. Get this card. People who are basketball fans, even get this. I think Luka Doncic was 18 years old, playing in Europe, not the NBA, but playing in the grown man's league in Europe, and he was the MVP of the league, the best player at 18 years old.
Rock on.
He plays for the Mavs. I think they are definitely in the playoffs. So that's it. Hopefully one day, in a country that Andrew Yang was never even the leader of, he gets MVP chance when he walks onto the court because of how much he means as a leader and as a fan of the sport.
Can he slam dunk?
Yang? Ooh.
Can he slam dunk? That's the big question.
Not in a 10-foot rim.
Can you slam dunk?
Not in 10-foot rim. But Yang plays a little bit of ball. He does. That's another thing about Andrew Yang too. Not only is he a fan, again, he didn't just say I support home team because I like them and I want people to like me. He posts videos of him playing basketball before every debate, every campaign stop. That wasn't a bad little fadeaway. By the way, look at Zach. That's definitely playing defense on my boss right now, where you just kind of, I got all, you can't exactly go up for the hard foul on your boss and presidential candidate, Andrew Yang. You kind of have to watch right here. He just kind of gives him the little.
Zach's kind of being a little bit of a pussy on defense.
But you know what?
I'll be honest
I got to say, sometimes, man, boss or not, you got to give him the hard foul and let him know, hey, you can't just come around here with that stuff. You got to come a little bit harder. So that's it. That's all I got to say. Again, I think if people who aren't sports fans, you might be like, why would he even, who cares? But like I said, you don't have to agree with the person, but when you're a fan of a sport or anything, seeing somebody kind of also express their fans in that same thing as you, it's a weird connection, man. It's hard to explain, but I do think this will help him more than it'll hurt him 100%. When he talks about watching AEW and being a Chris Jericho fan, I've talked to people who weren't necessarily political fans, but are wrestling fans, and they're like, oh, it's weird. Is the guy running for president who likes wrestling? That's illegal. Chris Jericho was like amazed. He's like, this guy retweeted me and he's a presidential candidate. It's crazy. It's like Chris Jericho's wealthier and more famous than Andrew Yang is.
I'm in the Yang gang.
Yeah, but I just think it's funny. Overall, he's a wealthier, more famous person. But it's just still this notion of like, this guy's running for president and he watches wrestling. That's so cool.
I don't know if I'd call him wealthy after he spent all of his money on HGH. No, just kidding.
Jericho? No, dude, because Chris Jericho.
He was looking ripped in that last interview,
man. Want to hear
man.
a funny story? Actually, he's out of WWE. Maybe he is ripped now. But there's so many lawsuits. There's a couple of big lawsuits against the WWE alleging steroid use. There's a really famous incident involving Chris Benoit where they said that he committed murders because of roid rage. So WWE wrestlers notoriously are screened for steroids more. I think I could be wrong, but I do believe WWE wrestlers for a long period of time were more scrutinized for steroids than NFL players, where there's actual competition involved. Because
hardcore.
Well, Vince McMahon almost went to jail twice, so he was he didn't want it to happen. So that's
Vinny McMahon.
That's just a little aside. Not saying anyone's right or wrong, just a little funny aside about steroids in professional wrestling. But again, like I said, I think when you're running for office, showing that you're a fan and showing you're a regular person too, I think it does help. It did wonders for Obama. People still write articles about Barack Obama's NCAA March Madness brackets. I mean, it helps. It helps move you forward. What's the word I'm looking for? To win the presidency, you have to have some policies people like, but you have to have that X factor edge, that thing that elevates you, that isn't necessarily policy or just that thing that kind of relates you to the people. And like for a long time in American history, it was generals when they ran, right? Like, it's kind of neck and neck, but this guy was like a general. He fought in the war we won. Maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need that thing that's just that kind of edge. And I think right now in 2019, being this social media personality, basketball fan, Twitter star, it's working for Yang. And I think I said it helps relate with people who normally would tune out politics. Spencer Dinwiddie, sorry, I hate to make this run too long. Another NBA player, same thing. Yang retweeted them and he was like, holy cow, this guy's running for president and he watches NBA games. Like, you should come to a game. NBA player, I mean, sorry, I went too long, but I just, this really fascinated me and I like seeing that he did it.
Yeah. So anyway, usually I say, let us know where we went wrong. But in this case, I would not even know.
Lakers won the finals in 6. I'm not going to go wrong. So don't worry.
Okay. Awesome. So anyway, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to contribute to the channel to hear more filthy politics with occasional sports references, Make sure you tune in on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursdays. Also, we got more hats, problemsolverpolitics.com. This is Problem Solver Politics. We'll see you in the next video.